Hey guys, it's Marshall Tingle with your Superior Ag Insurance Ringside Report for this past week, the first week of September, September 1st through the 7th. So we've had an extremely busy week across the state of Kentucky. Several loads of cattle this past week. So as a whole, 14,924 head of cattle marketed across the state of Kentucky. That's going to be up about 4,000 head from what it was this time last week. But if you compare it to a year ago, you're within about 300 head, so that's pretty steady. Now, let's talk about this market. Your cash market, your feeders, and your yearlings were up this past week. Your board was pretty strong on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, Friday came around. You saw a hard hit Thursday and a harder hit there on Friday. Now, the positive news is on Monday, the board rebounded, and as of Tuesday today, it closed up just a hair. Not much, but still, I'll take green over red any day. Now, like I said about these feeder cattle. Feeder cattle are up. We're going to call your feeder steers steady to $5 higher. Your heifers, pretty much steady. Some places $5 higher, $5 lower. Just depends on where you're at. Now, as far as your yearlings, strong demand on your yearlings. Like I said, just about everywhere on Thursday past had at least 15 to 17 loads. It was a week for the loads, guys. These guys brought them to town. Now, as far as your loads, we're going to call them probably steady to $3 higher, but a really strong demand on those. Let's talk about what your little lightweight calves are worth going in. Now, we are getting into the fall run. You're starting to see bigger spreads on these things. So you're going to have about a 20-cent spread on your average on these things coming in. And that's just going to be the difference between your balling calves and your weaned, preconditioned, your harder type, longer type weaned, yearling type cattle, if you want to call them that, as far as your feeders going in. So let's talk about this. So your full weight steers, I'm going to give you $2.80 to $3 as a spread. They topped off at $3.30. Your 5-weight steers, $2.75 to $2.90. They topped off at $3.09. And your 6-weight steer cattle's going in $2.50 to $2.70. They topped off at $2.92. So that's what's going on there. But let's talk about these loads, guys. Several loads. Now, a lot more 9-weights than what we're used to. I guess these guys have been holding back on them. Market was right, and they brought them to town. So let's talk about your 8-weights now. Here's 71 head of black steers, weighed 804 at 248.50. That's way over the CME feeder cattle index, way over the board. Now, as far as here's another set. Here's 61 head of these. These are black steers, weigh 833 at 245.75. 65 head of black steers weighed 861 at 235 and close out with some that are almost, well, these are 9s. It'll be 58 head of black steers weighed 912 at 236.60. So that's what's going on if your 8 weights and your 9 weights. Excuse me. Now let's talk about your Holsteins. Here's a little treat. Here's 50 head of Holsteins. These are big Holsteins. They weighed 1035 at $1.8350. So a pretty nice trade there. But check out these heifers, guys. They sure enough brought the heifers, and the heifers brought the dollars this week. Here's 76 head of black heifers weighed 612 at 260.50. And then 78 head of colored. Now, these are going to be Charolais and Reds. Just a sprinkling of colors, maybe just 1 or 2 blacks and primarily colored heifers, weighed 652 at 251.50. Now, let's talk about your CME feeder cattle index. Just about all these cattle we've just talked about have surpassed that. Tuesday the 3rd, your CME feeder cattle index was 239.53. Wednesday was up the 4th, 241.27. Thursday the 5th, 242.18. And we closed out the week Friday the 6th at 243.92. So that's what's going on with your feeder cattle index. That's what's going on with your cash market here in the state of Kentucky. If you have any questions about this or you're interested in the LRP policy, guys, there's really no better time than right now to invest in one of those. Feel free to reach out to the guys. Call Ian Thomas at 859-613-2453. Call Adam Shoemaker at 859-338-4116. Call Cole Clark at 859-865-2980. And don't forget about Carrie Mosier. She's at 270-279-929-8896. Or check them out on the web, www.superioragins.com. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great week. Talk to you next week.